Hi, everybody. How are you? How are you? I am going to bring in my love. Hello.
Hello,
How
now you
are
can hear me.
you?
I'm good. How are you? I haven't seen you for a whole 2 minutes.
Okay, so you guys can see we're set up in two locations and da 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 da. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Hello.
I was wondering if I was live or not. Like, are we live? Or...
We indeed are.
Chantal, thank you so much for being here. This is amazing. I know that this is the meeting that not a single solitary person had on their bingo card in 2022. So we are
Me
closing out the
included.
year with a bang. Exactly. None of us did. This has been a year full of surprises, right?
Oh yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you for having me on here for sure. I've been liking the content you guys have been doing, so yeah, for
Well,
sure.
It's
thank you.
changed a little bit. Yes, indeed. Um, I just wanted to start off with a few questions right out the box, real quick, rapid fire. Because, well, are you actively using drugs?
No,
No. Are
drugs.
okay.
Okay.
No. Let me finish. You're not abusing your body anymore like you were. You're not putting yourself through the stress. You're not around toxic men. So if all that's true, then that constitutes change, right?
Yeah, exactly. I don't feel the need to do drugs. I don't feel the need to stay sane and escape my reality as much. So, yeah, I would say that's changed for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely. I just wanted to establish that right out the box because some people have a varying definition of change. I don't know what they expect, but to me, that's a huge change because I've known a lot of people who have. I myself have been a party monster, and when
Yeah.
you change, you leave a part of yourself behind, or you find a part of yourself. So, thank you for answering that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah. But you have to agree, Negs, just if I can, I think all of these hardships that we go through, they help shape who we are and we learn from them. And that's what, people should do. I mean, human error is a thing. And I think that I don't think anyone's beyond redemption, well, within reason, but yeah. But thanks for noticing, though.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the first things I noticed was because before when you were about to head off to Kuwait, I was doubtful. I did a little trolling online. I was like, she ain't going. She
We
I
ain't
made
said
gonna.
the
you laugh,
same.
though.
I said the same too.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think everybody. I don't blame people for that because I'm very impulsive and I've done things, started things and not finished. So yeah, I totally get it.
yeah. It's something like a trip halfway across the world is something you could be like, yeah, maybe not.
For me, it's like I'm going to the Middle East. Screw it.
Yeah. So I was impressed, and yeah, I was speculative at first because I was like, wow, how's this going to play out? Because prior to that, you were beezing extra hard. So
Amazing.
yeah, that's a common term around here now. I think for a lot of people.
Yeah, I should copyright it. No, I'm just
You
joking.
should.
You
Everyone's
should trademark it. I would for sure.
You should. I mean, look, I was shocked because I have traveled to the Middle East several times and I know that it's an incredibly long and it can be an extremely uncomfortable trip. Because there's
Yeah.
so many, I don't know how many times you transferred flights, but there are these long stretches where you're trapped on that plane and it is brutal. Absolutely
Yeah.
brutal. So
12
that was my
hours
reason for, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's
in
11 hours to
economy.
Israel. In economy, I've
Oh,
traveled
yeah.
coach to Israel and I know 11 straight hours is a nightmare.
Oh,
But
yeah.
but you did it. I mean, look, I didn't think you were going to go to Cuba either, and you did that too. So you really showed all of us.
That was crazy. That was crazy. That was a wild
Hmm.
trip. I don't know if I covered much of it, but I do know that I consumed a lot. I was like, wow.
Oh, yeah. Cuba
Cuba
raids.
beads. Yeah,
That's
Cuba
right.
raids.
That was
Yeah.
epic, though. That was epic. That was one of your best rages ever, Chantal. I have to say that.
Anything black and ugly in my heart came out that day with
Yeah.
that bottle of rum. Yeah.
A bottle of rum will do that. I mean, I don't know a
Yeah.
human being that could do a bottle of rum and not Yeah, let something out of the deepest dark recesses of their brain.
Yeah, my
See,
mom was like, "You drank my souvenir." I was like, "Sorry."
Hope.
yeah. See, for me, that's tequila. That's why I don't
Oh,
touch it, and that's why I've spared Negs that horror of seeing me doing tequila shots because the aftermath is something that you do not want to be around.
Yeah,
So,
tequila is gnarly.
so what's really funny to me though is that the main problem that people have with you now, Chantal, is that your content is not providing the excitement that people want in order to be able to react to it. You know, they're angry
Yeah.
that the content is kind of dull couples stuff. I mean, I've said many times, Negs and I have both said many times, people try to make our relationship into something it isn't. And we've
Right.
said many times, we are a very dull middle aged couple. So you guys are a dull, not so middle aged couple, but people try to fill in the blanks with whatever it is that they want to be
Yes.
saying, you know.
Right, I realize that now for sure. Yeah. And you know what? I'm enjoying Dole. I'm enjoying Dole right now. My mental health is enjoying Dole. It's it's a happy Dole and it's a relaxing Dole,
Hmm.
peaceful, other than internet stuff. But yeah, I can see that. They have to fill in the blanks because I'm gone from being so open to clamming completely up.
Hmm.
and that's
Hmm.
probably
So
to your benefit because oversharing can be detrimental. And people
yeah,
really need to check themselves because if their chief complaint with you this entire time was how awful you were never going to change, then when you finally change, they need to figure out why they're trying to push you back to what they were criticizing in the first place. Because
yeah,
it
Right.
seems to me if people like this are so benevolent and they have their shit figured out, they're on the straight and narrow, then they would know that dogpiling somebody when they're trying to change is the worst thing you could do.
Hmm.
yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
Right. I think most people just don't think of me as a person. It seems like I feel like people just think of me as entertainment and
Right.
a lot of their entertainment, like how exciting CPAP rescue, blah, blah, blah. But for me, that was horrifying to have to do
Right.
that. And, for them, it's just sitting back and watching. So I don't blame them in a way because I sometimes watch things like that too. But when it's you, it's different. Always.
Right. Well, there's a big difference between consuming it and then wanting to be a part of it, right?
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
like there are people I dislike on this platform, but if they're going through some horrific stuff that could be dangerous with other human beings, I'm not going to sit idly by it, such as Fritchie, and poke and prod and try to instigate a situation that doesn't exist for your own
Right.
entertainment. That's sadistic. But I know if people are going to put stuff online, I'm gonna watch it, but I'm not going to touch the poop.
Hmm.
I like that. Yeah. I like how you put it. Exactly. Right.
Well,
Yeah,
see, Chantal, you figured out something that people tend to figure out too late, which is that when you turn your life into the Truman Show, you end up getting a lot of a lot of things happen to you that you probably didn't count on, and they're not necessarily great. I mean,
Mm,
I know that. I mean, listen, Negs and I have been through this where we go somewhere and people immediately start tracking where we are. They want to figure out the hotel, they want to figure out the hotel room, they want to figure out the restaurants, which is why when we went to Key West, we were deliberately hiding where we were. We didn't want to show any landmarks until
right.
after we had moved on from wherever it was that we happened to be. But I mean, I remember, you know, on Kiwi Farms, people were tracking the hotels that you were checking into. They were following
Yeah.
your GPS. They were mapping every single movement that you were making. And I remember on my channel saying, Jesus Christ, Chantal, would you turn off the goddamn voice commands on the GPS because people are following your every move and it's I
Yeah.
mean, look, thank God nothing ever happened to you, right? Thank God that nobody ever showed up at your house. I know that you received stuff at your house, but it's good that no wacko ever actually attacked you or did anything violent to you.
yes.
Um,
Yeah. True. When I think about that, I guess I just don't think about those things after you're right. Like now I'm more cautious, but even then
right.
I'm just one of those people that just, I don't care enough maybe, and I just have to be more responsible for my own safety in a lot of ways
Hmm.
for sure.
Right.
Yeah, well, and to be honest, this is my biggest critique with the reactors is that they're not considerate of your safety at all.
No.
No.
They feel entitled to push the narrative, if you will.
Yeah, it's content for them. Like if they have a, like that perfectly imperfect woman before she ran away, it was like posting, I found her location. Like it was completely okay to post where I am, what hotel I might be staying at. Like they don't care about the safety at all. They don't think about that either, for sure. Yeah.
That's
Crosses
doxing.
boundaries. That's doxing. It crosses boundaries. It crosses lines,
Yeah, that's it's nobody. If you want to watch it on the screen, fine. But why do people need to know where I'm at so you can introduce another actor to the scene?
Right.
I mean, and you are lucky that because I observed French Fry Girl in real time, poke and prod that one guy, like trying to instigate him and aggravate him. And I had gripes with everybody, but I could distinguish that two things can be true at the same time. I can not like somebody, but see that what somebody's doing to them is dangerous.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, that's what I like about you guys. It's like you can be, you are more logical and just can have discussions like this, whereas with some other people, it's just screeching and name calling.
That's excessive to me, considering that when these same reactors, they draw these big numbers, these big dollars, and all this stuff, but when the shoe's on the other foot and they're on the screen being reacted, they act as if though somebody's kicked their front door open.
Exactly.
I find that very interesting.
Right.
It's very interesting from a psychological standpoint, for sure.
Case study.
Well, Negz and I were talking about a couple of things this morning, and one of them was that one of the things that I've noticed, and I'm sure one of the things that you have noticed pretty dramatically in the past couple of months, is that when you get on the platform and you behave a certain way or you have a certain point of view, and you change, people don't like that. Nobody likes change around here. Nobody likes it. And people talk a lot of bullshit about they want a redemption arc. No, they really don't. They want drama. They want conflict. They want arguing and squabbling. So when, for example, Negz and I made friends, I had 3 different communities, if not 4, try to actively take my channel down.
Because you're happy. Like that's so
right. Because I was no longer towing the line. I was no longer fighting with them. This is when we were just friends. This is when we were just being civil to each other. And people were absolutely livid, like, oh my God, you're going to bring him back onto YouTube. There are 37 million channels on YouTube. Who cares?
Yeah, right? I mean, really, I hate that. I have to say that. Like, they're so opposed to Negz having a presence, a voice on a platform when he's like so less invasive than so many more people who have way more subscribers. It's just insane. Like, it's like you know what it reminds me of? A high school popularity club. One week somebody's out and, everyone's just like mobbing on that one person. I can't stand that mentality. And makes me feel gross.
It's click. It is. It's juvenile click mentality.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to sit here and, like most people, they call it cloud chasing. Like, in the past, somebody mentioned something in the chat back when you were bees and extra hard in Canada and maybe being behind the wheel. I condemned that.
Yes, right? So did I.
Yeah, just because like, listen, you're actively trying to be better, right? So why do people need to rehash things that are not currently happening,
right?
That you're distancing yourself from, right? And that's one of the things that I've experienced over the years too. This is a big reason we had Chantal on, because the treatment she gets is identical to how we are treated. The invasive entitlement, and the harassment, and take your platform, take your money, so we can laugh at you and make money.
Yeah,
and Chantal, it's really weird because the other thing that I was telling Negz earlier, I tend to talk Negz's ear off, but he tolerates it. So I was saying,
he's the one then.
I was saying, of all the people that I did not expect to be on the same life track as, that person would be Chantal, that I did not expect. Because Chantal and I have had some wonderful DM exchanges. And Chantal and I have both had hysterectomies. Chantal and I mean, I'm not currently married, but I have a younger boyfriend, but both of my husbands were younger. They were both from overseas. And I too have faced the same accusations that Well, the only possible reason that a younger man from whatever country would want to marry you is for a green card, for the money, for citizenship. Chantal and I are now both in a situation where we are being, everything that you are being accused of, Chantal, is something that I have been accused of in the past. Every single
Yeah,
thing. And
right.
it's,
Exactly.
at a certain point, it's like, okay, um, either you believe that Chantal is really married or you don't. Okay? If you
Yeah.
believe she's really married and then you believe all these other things, okay. But if you don't believe that she's married, then why are you accusing this man of marrying her for money and for a green card? It doesn't make any sense. Like, make up your mind.
That's what I say. What can it be? Like they contradict themselves with their own speculations, and it's just like nobody has any proof of anything. So I understand, I'm a public figure. There's going to be speculation, but um, sometimes it's just too far and it's just damaging.
Hmm.
And I mean, just wish us well. I mean, he hasn't given any reason. To for otherwise. I mean, he makes me very happy. Like people could see when I was with the goblin fish, like how miserable I was,
Hmm.
crying and just on drugs and everything. And it's
Yeah.
just complete 180 now. And I haven't shed a tear on camera since, so or behind the scenes. It's just, you know, I'm the type of person who's an open book. I wear my heart on my sleeve a lot, and it's hard for me to hide how I feel. So I
Hmm.
mean, so
So tell me something, because this is something that a lot of people are wondering about. So you and Salah met and you got together very, very quickly. Now, this has been known to happen, okay? This is not
yeah.
like you've invented this, right? But a lot of people are wondering how it was possible for you to get married so quickly when you arrived in Kuwait. And they are questioning the legitimacy of the marriage. I mean, I myself speculated that maybe it was a muta marriage or, a Sharia marriage or something. So, how did that transpire?
Um, well, what I can say is basically just it's actually not that hard. Like I stayed in a hotel for a little bit and then
Hmm.
I had to um get a form from the embassy that was like a free to marry form or something,
Hmm.
whatever they required. So I got that document and it only took like 24 hours and everything
Hmm.
just happened really fast, just like
Hmm.
um that was basically it. It wasn't actually that complicated, just
Hmm.
like signing papers and everything and like that. And so, but we want to do more of there wasn't any kind of like ceremony or anything. And we just mostly wanted to rush the actual legal marriage part because it's required here. You know what I
Right.
mean? So,
And when I
but we're
said
gonna,
Sharia marriage, I meant a nikah marriage. Sorry, I had a brain slip. But was it a religious ceremony or are there
no,
civil ceremonies? It was
it's
not a,
civil.
it was civil. I did not know that there were civil wedding ceremonies in Kuwait.
Yeah, because there are, yeah, like here in some countries, I don't know if I guess, but I would have to go through an actual like formal process to marry, to become a Muslim, to then marry as a Muslim and take like,
Right,
it's a different process. So as a Christian, just Canadian person, it's like a more of just, I don't know, what do you call it, secular or just legal marriage, basically.
right, right.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, so has your family spoken to him? Have they met him even, on Zoom or something?
Yeah. We regularly WhatsApp video chat with them.
Hmm.
I have like before I left, I created like a Kuwait group chat on WhatsApp with my family, and we're actually going to be video chatting on Christmas, like because I'm not going to be there this year, so it's going to be a bit weird for them, and they miss me. So, but
Hmm.
yeah, they really, really actually like Sala. Like, oh, if I could share, like, if I could tell you the conversations I used to have with them when I was with the trash bag,
Hmm.
lack of better term. They basically just wanted to have nothing to do with it. We're like, you have to leave. They were just miserable for me, and
Of
now
course,
they're
yeah.
super happy. Yeah, they're super happy because he's so nice on camera, and like, he loves my family too. So it's just a really, really, yeah, it's different. But yeah, we
Well,
do chat for sure.
well,
Hmm.
good. And going from a toxic relationship to somebody who is, that can help you steer your ship right, it makes the world a difference. I've been in a few toxic
Mm.
relationships, and they were very detrimental to me, my temperament, my mental health, people's
Yeah,
perception of me. People would avoid me, So You know, and then you also see that your conversations with people become more positive because you're not miserable,
Right.
and people want to be
Exactly.
around you more.
You seem so much happier, Negs. Like I've been following you for years too. Like you're one of the first reaction channel I watched, and you just seem so different as well. So
Mhm.
yeah, I understand that because that's when you're with the right person who doesn't mentally and emotionally and in every way abuse you and just is there to make you happy and grow as a person.
Mhm.
It's such a difference.
And
Absolutely.
and honestly, Chantal, I gotta say that one of the things that was driving, I can't speak for anybody else, but one of the things that was driving me crazy was, you watch somebody who streams all day and you develop a certain, if not connection, all right, but you do kind of start to relate to them in some way. And I know that a lot of the people in your chat and a lot of the people watching just wanted to wring your neck. Like, what are you doing? The guy is an asshole. That guy is a terrible human being. And then
Yeah.
there you were, and you're taking your clothes off, and you're high, and you're a mess, and everything's a mess in the house, and everything. And it's like,
Oh God, yeah.
Jesus, Chantal, what the hell are you doing? And then that whole thing with Omegle and whatever. And it was like one thing after another after another. Now, obviously, if you were a reaction channel, you could monetize all of that mess.
Oh yeah.
And it was great, but it was obvious that you were in a horrendous place. A horrendous
Yeah.
place. And honestly, at a certain point, I stepped out of it because
Mhm.
I couldn't watch it anymore. I couldn't. When we
Right.
started to get into rape accusations and when Frenchie and Jassain decided to monetize a woman accusing a man of rape and potentially scuttling her court case, that was enough for me. I said, that is it. I can't. Everybody here sucks. The entire thing is a nightmare, and I want to have nothing to do with it.
Yeah, I don't blame
Um,
you.
but it was bad, and I think that that was the source of. And unfortunately, some people express their frustration with an enormous amount of hostility, which was totally misplaced and inappropriate. But it is frustrating. You were a frustrating person. I mean, I think that even you would probably agree with that.
Of course, yeah. I mean, I'm not, I did do a lot of self-reflection. I think that's a lot of change. I still struggle with a lot of things, but I mean, I could understand like the emotions are high. People got really close to me. I mean, I had my Beezer community. I would stream hours and hours a day, share everything with them, and they would watch me go through this. And you know, it was probably yeah, very very emotionally hard to deal with a lot of the time.
Hmm.
So I for sure get that. Yeah. I didn't mean to
It's
put anyone through that. I was just going on and like trying to deal with my situation. And honestly, going live, having that community really did help me through a lot of it, actually. Even though there was a lot of hate,
Hmm.
there was still a lot of people were still there and listened to what I had to say. And that was probably the most important thing.
Hmm.
yeah, and they should appreciate what you're doing now because it's just insane to me to not celebrate other people's milestones, especially when you pretend to want for them.
Hmm.
I
I don't
don't know.
think people believe it's genuine.
Exactly.
I think they're waiting
Uh,
to see when I go home if they think I'm gonna go step off the plane, rip off my hijab and let's go get a wheelchair, you know? And
Hmm. Right.
yeah, so,
well,
and I'm
even if
not
you
saying
did,
maybe I will be tempted, but I'm really gonna try not to, you know?
well, even if you did, what do they lose by just going? We'll see.
Yeah,
You got Frenchie out here screaming. She's going to call immigration. She's calling authorities. Like these people aren't connected to you in any way. They're strangers on the internet. At the end of the day,
yeah, that's what I don't like about her specifically. It's the invasiveness and the entitlement and the riling up of everyone to hate on me and just like cause ruckus in my life and show up at places and just it's just weird to me and that just
I've
doesn't
never
feel good.
seen I've never seen this tolerated out of any other content creator on this platform. If you know another one, let me know, guys. One content creator that stalks one other content creator, and I will call it out. But I don't know anybody that tolerates this. If somebody showed up where I was on multiple occasions, there would be a physical altercation at the second one. Because seriously, because I mean, like, the laws in my state are different. My haters make violent threats out the box. So But I don't understand why thousands of people are enabling this, because it sends a bad example. Uh, One, it's an extreme violation of terms of service. Don't know how it flies under the radar, but it does.
Yeah.
And it sets a bad example for new people coming in, like this Gary Unfiltered guy. He's just as damaged as me, you, and everybody else with his mentals. And he's out here
Yeah.
on the hate train for what reason? I
Yeah.
don't get it.
I mean, I guess sometimes the only thing I can think is I just mouth back sometimes, and maybe it becomes personal at that point for people. But you know, I don't know why people are surprised that I defend myself. Like, I just, you know, it's not worth my time, but I end up doing it, and then it's like you get villainized for it. It's so bizarre, you know, when they've done so
That's
much
entitlement.
worse.
That's entitlement. Somebody today came for my wig because I replied to a comment under one of my videos. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's my comment section.
Mm-hmm.
You're in here abusing me, so I reply. Now you taking it personally. If they don't want to take things personally, they shouldn't make it personal immediately. That's what everybody does, from CPS to, I'll call immigration, to talking about how people smell, their genitals. It's just like, dude, yeah, I'm going to clap back at you. And if you're a victim from that, you need to log off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
So Chantal, tell me something. Are you going to convert to Islam? What's going on with that?
Well, I'm very vague with that because,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I'm still learning. Like, I mean, it's like Islam's like there's so much to learn, and some days I'm like, you know, there's just a lot to learn. So I don't know. Like, I'm kind of, when I say in between religions, yeah, kind of. I'm more on the side of yes, but I'm still learning a lot of
Mm-hmm.
things, and so I don't want to, like, I think it's like take the final oath or, you know, whatever until I'm fully educated on it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I think I'm gonna have to just keep learning about it till I make any like final conversion decisions.
Is
But
this some
I have found God at least, you know, I've definitely am more spiritual than before for sure.
is this something that Salah is requiring you to do, or is this something that you're doing because you genuinely feel moved by it?
No, I actually, Salah was okay with me just being Christian, and you know, assured me of that before I came. And but he said if I wanted to learn more about it, he would help me with that.
Mm-hmm.
He is Muslim, but
Mm-hmm.
he's more open-minded, a lot for sure. Like, if he wasn't, he would just find, you know, a wife from here,
Right.
somebody strictly Muslim. So you know, it's not a requirement. Absolutely not. If I decide that it's not
Mm-hmm.
for me, I can remain Christian, and that's not a problem.
So what happened with the niqab? You kind of wore it and then you ditched it. What happened there?
The niqab, um, I think it was just like impulsive and jumping the gun. Like, I was under the impression, well, it would be like the ultimate modest dress. And honestly, like, if we go somewhere crowded, I don't know, I can't explain it. When you wear a niqab, you feel completely like covered from everybody. And
Mm-hmm.
when you go to like a market, like an old souk or something, when we would go there, that everyone is like, there's most women are wearing a niqab. So it was a mixture of wanting to like fit in culturally. Also, I guess a part of it, I wanted to try it out as like the ultimate modest dress and like a devotion to God, my husband. But it's not a require. Apparently, there's like scholars who argue it's not a requirement, but it is. It's not very uncomfortable, but it's with someone who's like obese and has asthma, it can be a little uncomfortable at times.
With
And
all the heat also.
yeah, and I kind of struggle between like my old self and um you know, this newer kind of life. So there's still old remnants of myself that like I miss wearing lip gloss sometimes, and I want the world to see that. So I'm like very conflicted, you know, and I feel like I should have waited, but I'm impulsive, you know, so that was
Mm-hmm.
an impulsive decision probably more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, I prefer that type of impulsivity over like going out and getting some drugs and getting behind the wheel, or being irresponsible.
Yeah, for
That's not a
sure.
permanent decision. You know, that's not a permanent decision. You put that on, it ain't for me. Take it off, whatever, big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's why I look at it. It's
I
no
want to
different
try
than,
it out
you know,
too.
a hat or something. You know, if it's not for you, it's not for you.
Yeah, exactly.
You're just not being
Yeah.
forced.
No, I'm not being forced.
Yeah, see, so
Someone in chat is
choice.
asking if covering yourself like that is part of the trauma from last year?
That's interesting. I don't know, maybe.
Hmm.
Like, I like feeling covered up. Like, and I asked myself that, like, maybe there is a deeper reason. Because I do feel more secure. And, especially I have this, goblin fish now just threatening with revenge porn and everything, actually
Right.
putting revenge porn on his live streams, which I did call the Montreal police, but that's another story.
Hmm.
That I'm following up with that legally. But maybe there is an aspect of that. Yeah, maybe. I
Hmm.
never really thought of it that way, actually. But when I put it on, I felt like a security that I didn't have before, for sure.
Hmm.
Well, I'm sure
Yeah.
it could resemble something of a like a weighted blanket for somebody in a way,
Yeah,
because
kind of, you're right. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, for sure.
yeah, because I mean, as a young man and with children with autism, one of my children, he wears a hoodie no matter what time of year it is, because I know the two, one's
Mhm.
religious and one's just a sensory thing, but doesn't mean that the religious garb couldn't assist you in your anxiety with that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't wear it in any disrespect to anybody.
Right?
But that's why I always say I have my own personal reasons, so it's like a mixture. Like I am more religious, learning more about Islam, and
Hmm.
then at the same time, yeah, I feel more secure with it as well.
And the important thing I think I want to point out is that all of this is a personal choice. You're not, again,
Right.
I'm trying to stress that you're not forced.
Hmm.
You
No,
know,
no, no. I'm even surprised people I think people are actually legit worried about that I'm like not okay. And I see a lot of comments like, come back to Canada, like take this costume off. And it's like,
Hmm.
they just don't understand fully. And I don't blame people because not everyone's going to, but no, I feel very good right now. And this is not forced at all. No,
Hmm.
well,
you know,
ultimately, at the end of the day, if you feel good and you're doing better, I just wish more people would give you the space to do that.
yeah,
Because I mean, like, it's perfectly fine to fire up a live stream and put anybody up there and critique them, but I've listened to these critiques and it's just misinformation, it's wild speculation and intrusive. So they
most of
would
the time.
probably be surprised if they just backed off of you and others, because some people are guilty of going after other people just as hard,
Hmm.
but not nearly level of you. They'd probably be surprised what they'd see. I mean, or at least fire up their cameras and show what their routine is, since they're better than everybody.
Yeah, no, a lot of people don't have that courage to do it. They just don't. I don't know why, but I mean, I can understand now, like you said with the Truman Show thing, I put a lot of my life out there, but I never really minded, like, because I felt like if I'm going through this, other people must be,
Hmm.
so maybe those people we can all just get together and support each other. But
Yeah, we get picked apart over. I mean, like, there's so many lies and so many stupid narratives, and it's always people who are habitual line steppers. They're the ones with the worst narratives and lies.
Hmm.
And all I've ever wanted over the last 5 years, since a couple of ladies ruined my reputation on these platforms, was a little space to figure things out, and I was never allotted that, so I had to go through the motions. And coming up this year, with all the changes that have been made, I've been looking around. I'm like, man, who are these people holding us to this standard that is
Hmm.
impossible to me, that they don't even practice?
Hmm.
exactly. Yeah, it's like just like hypocrisy 101, classic textbook hypocrisy.
It's
That's it.
pathological. It's wild to watch because it's so dishonest, and it's based in. And I know people like that are probably they're deeply insecure. They have to be
Oh yeah. No,
to
happy
not
people don't
celebrate
waste their
anything.
time. Right. And YouTube really, really has to do better to protect their creators. Like to me, it's not fair. If one creator gets like 10 or 40 reaction channels about them all using the content the minute it comes out. It's just, just to further bully somebody over and over. It's just ridiculous to me that YouTube as a platform, like any other platform, is like way more strict than that. Patreon, oh, forget it. That would never happen on Patreon. You know what I mean? Like it's just
Right.
ridiculous.
Well, what's weird to me, Chantal, is that you got Hussy taken down in about 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And yet, you know, these other channels that have been coming after you, and if they want to criticize me for saying this, I really don't care. I am so past the point of caring at this point because
Yeah.
I'm sorry, when people start going IRL, that is when the line is drawn. That is when you say enough is enough. I can't do this anymore. There need to be consequences because it's one thing to want to watch the show, it's another thing to want to be part of the show or want to alter the narrative to suit your purposes.
Right.
Um, and yet, it seems like you haven't really been very proactive about trying to get these channels under control. Why? What happened?
Well, I didn't really want to like say out loud like what I did behind the scenes because I don't want the people to be like, haha, my channel's still here, YouTube did
Hmm.
nothing. But I have reported people a lot actually, even though I say, I have to report this person. I mean, honestly, one of the reasons is mental health. Like in order for YouTube to really care, I mean, I report all the time, just basic reporting, but to
Hmm.
go to actually as a creator go in and report someone, you have to like have timestamps. So I have to
Right.
listen to
Yeah.
one of FFG's whole live streams just beating up on me. Like, and I have to do that over and over to try and prove my case. And it's like, it's ridiculous.
Hmm.
Like, who wants to do that? It's
Hmm.
it's daunting. It's just not something I want to spend my time doing, and it's hard to do. So that was one major reason.
Hmm.
I'm gonna chime in for a
But I,
second. I can relate because
yeah,
I've seen some serious messed up stuff, and I don't want to hear it again to get the timestamps. But I just so happen, I'm just throwing this out there. I just so happen to have a community of the best timestampers in the
Right.
world. See all and know all. So just throwing that out there.
I was thinking that too. I'm like, I should just pay somebody a couple $100 or whatever, go through some of these streams for me because yes, I think there's a lot of violations because like they updated their terms of service to specifically say if you're continually targeting somebody for their physical attributes, how they look, blah blah blah, or just anything, continually targeting someone, that's harassment in my opinion, because
Hmm.
she's never nice. She even if she doesn't say directly you're fat, even though they do, or she does
Hmm.
she's not nice. She's very condescending. She's just inciting more bullying, and she gives people a place to hate. So it's like, do you want that on your platform, YouTube? What's going on? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
So
what if this was a community dedicated to hating somebody's identity? It'd be
yeah,
gone in a heartbeat. What's the difference?
absolutely. Yeah, yeah,
Listen,
So
let me tell you something, Chantal. If somebody started with me by, okay, first of all, showing up at a place where I was in some public event, I was performing. Okay, so that's one thing. But before then, if that person had reached out to my former best friend, and that former best friend was in a very vulnerable place,
yeah.
and they did it and they kept on putting this person online. I mean, Hussey has threatened to put my ex-husband on his show, which he
Oh,
never would because my ex-husband would never agree to it. But you know, when somebody wants to do something like that and then they turn around and they say that they tried to get your cats, okay,
yeah,
and that they were willing to sign an NDA. And then this is the kicker. The kicker is when they say, if they said, well, I am going to make sure that that guy, and she called him a name, I'm going to make sure that that guy never gets into Canada. Excuse me, but at that point, I'm getting a restraining order.
yeah.
Because let me tell you, I don't know how it is in Canada, but I know that shepherding two husbands through the immigration system of the United States of America was one of the most stressful things I have ever gone through. And I also
Mm,
want to point out that Salah is a Muslim male in an age range that in the United States, I don't know about Canada, but in the United States would raise a red flag. Okay.
mm,
And I know in your example, there would be certain things that would trip it off. The fact that you got married so quickly, the fact that you guys, well, you don't speak Arabic, but his English is very good. The fact that he's so much younger than you are, the fact that you don't share a religion, all of these things would make an immigration officer probably question you a little bit more closely. All right.
Yeah.
And for anybody to say that they are going to step in and try to throw a monkey wrench in that machinery, I would have gone to the cops by now. I would have. And this
Yeah.
is one area where Canada is lucky that they don't have a First Amendment, because I think that Canada takes a much dimmer view on that sort of talk. Because in
Right.
the US,
Right.
there's literally nothing that you could do about it. Now, I don't even
Really?
know what your plans
Wow.
are for. No, Negs and I have been threatened with actual violence,
True.
direct
Yeah.
threats, and the
That's what I
police
was
are
saying.
like,
Like,
well, it's free speech, there's nothing we can do. Negs was threatened with a fucking firearm by Miss Fucking Wonderful. I
oh
was threatened
yeah.
by the anti-Onision community. And we get this all the time, and the police can't do a goddamn thing about it. Nothing, because it's a free speech issue. In Canada, it's totally different. So I don't know what your plans are. You say that there's no immediate plan to bring Solid to Canada or whatever, but I'm telling you, it's too stressful, and you don't want some asshole, deciding to whip up her audience to try and railroad any sort of application that you make for him to come into Canada. Why shouldn't he go to Canada? You know?
Yeah. Right. Well, I don't think, hopefully the government is not as dumb and will just know that it's just haters. But I mean, if that ever happens and I have to apply or whatever, like, yeah, I mean, what I'm planning to do, honestly, I'm building, like I said, I'm building a case, and when I go back to Canada, I have to go into the police station. So I might do a twofer, deal with both of them. They both live in the same city, so it would be the same Montreal police station. But I don't know. I'm gonna keep that like under wraps just so they don't
Good.
know my next moves.
Good.
But that's an option for sure. And I've already been figuring out what to do about that because I don't know. It's just these people just go way too far. I don't get it. Like, just leave me alone. Like, go live your best life like you claim to have. Well, if
Mm-hmm.
you don't have a best life, why else would you be criticizing someone else for living their life? It's just ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
So many miserable people, But
Look, misery loves company, and there's also another aspect of this whole thing, and it's the fact that the French fry girl, is taking your intellectual property, outperforming you and making more money than you with your
mm,
intellectual property. She's
yeah,
offering nothing but screeching and threats. It's really problematic, and people are openly bragging about this. They're, oh well, Frenchie makes more than Chantal. I'm like, Chantal's the star. That shouldn't be a case at all. Like
yeah,
this is a serious. This. They keep saying fair use. They really need to go read the definition of fair use again,
right,
because what I see is is a huge content ID issue for you. Like, and I hate
yeah,
saying it because they openly brag about it. They're stealing from you. They're stealing money from
exactly,
you, thousands of
yeah.
dollars.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've put up with this for years and years, and I just, I mean, I do make decent enough money that I just never really noticed or really cared because it wasn't like really affecting my pocket to the point where I'm like starving for food or anything. But a note on free speech, like I can't believe that. Like honestly, I think that free speech is nice until it crosses the line and is used to attack somebody. Like that's how I look at it. And I think Canada is the same way. There's definitely a lot more laws.
Right.
So I think I would definitely have a case with all of the things that she said and done. I mean, I have so many. There's just so much material. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
years. I mean, what is it? 500 videos in 2 years?
Yeah.
500.
Yeah.
I think somebody counted 500. What?
Yes, exactly. Using my medical issues against me, just being a completely disgusting, low human being. And
Mm-hmm.
I just find it funny that when I actually have enough of it and retort back, people just think that I'm the villain. It's ridiculous. And they bring up things that I did when I was like a teenager
Mm-hmm.
or under emotional distress from being abused or just really ridiculous things. So,
Well, it's funny that this rule of decades ago applies to the people that they dislike, but when it comes to a beloved reactor that's been evicted from multiple properties and got $14,000 behind on rent, we're
Right.
going to forget about that. That's not a big deal. We're going to
Mm-hmm.
forget about the woman who claimed to have a bloody mugshot. No. That was forever ago. We don't bring that
yeah.
stuff up anymore.
because they don't care about her as a person. Like she could be a robot or a monkey behind that avatar screeching, and as long as she's hating on me, people don't care. You know, like they just don't.
Fair enough.
Hmm.
Fair enough. It astonishes me because I've listened to hours of Fritchie over the last month or two, and there's so
For
much
you.
vitriol and hate. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for me. But it's I listen to her literally call somebody out like you or me, and then like, oh, I can't believe they said that, and then doubles down and makes a threat, and is somehow still the victim at the end of the
Yeah,
stream. It's like, what? No, you made a threat. What are you talking about?
exactly. It's so backwards,
And what I
you
love
know.
too is that now that Negs and I are getting along with you and that we're all kind of mingling in each other's communities, that all these people who used to come for us and criticize us for being mean and all this stuff now are like, oh, fuck you, Chantal. We don't like you anymore because look at what you're doing. Look at all this cloud chasing. It's like, wait a minute. So are you in favor of people abusing Chantal or are you not? If you're not, then you have to be consistent across the board. We are
Right.
not abusing Chantal. I'm not expecting
Yes.
us to get a medal or a ticker tape parade, but I sure as hell didn't expect anybody to throw you under the bus.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's bizarre to me. Um,
I think people who have a personal maybe vendetta with you guys are trying to shame me into
Right.
coming on your channel. And they did that with CJ. They did that with, with MFW. And I mean, I'll never mess with them again. After the
Hmm.
racist, especially after the racist things. I mean, I can't stand that kind of stuff. So it's just
Hmm.
never gonna happen. There's that kind of ignorance. No.
that was disgusting.
Yeah.
That was
That
really
guy is,
bad.
yeah, he's a creep. He's a real freaking creep. I never liked that guy. But yeah, people warning you about that. That's just those two. Don't ever go. Do not go on that panel with those two ever. Anybody for no real. Unless they pay
No.
you in advance, at least $1,000 for the
Thousand
humiliation. That's
bucks.
what they're gonna do. Yep.
$1,000, and then I'm gonna roast them for filth for being racist against, like Islamophobic. Sorry, extremely Islamophobic. I mean, Katie is your like if you just look up Murica, her picture's there beside it. She's just
Absolutely.
you know,
Yeah, baby.
oh,
And sadly, I think that when people look at Katie, that's the impression they also get of Indiana. Like, oh,
yeah,
yeah, well, she's from Indiana, of course. You know,
No.
that's what I expected to run into in Indiana when I came to live with Negs.
yeah,
And luckily, I didn't find that. It's limited to those assholes online. You know, Yaba,
good.
Sam, Katie. But in this
Mm.
little town that we live in, I don't run into that kind of mess. I don't meet people like that.
No.
I would feel afraid living there with knowing that they're there in that in the same state, honestly. Like they seem insane. Like I wouldn't put anything past them when they're
Listen,
angry and drunk, you know?
they're they're insane, but they're going to take it out on each other before they do anything to anybody else.
That's right. That's
So
exactly right. That's
Yeah.
exactly right. It's going to be like the last scene in Jurassic Park. The humans were safe. It was the dinosaurs that started attacking each other, and that's exactly what they're going to do.
True. Yeah, that's strange, eh?
So
I forgot
Chantal,
about that.
are you and Salah considering traveling anywhere else around the Gulf? Are we going to be seeing the Emirates? Are we going to be seeing anything else?
Yeah, that's a possibility. I'm not too sure. Like he has a different passport than me, so I'm not sure
Hmm.
where he can travel certain places and he can travel to I know he could go to Thailand. We were talking about going to Thailand,
Hmm.
and that might be a possibility. Like, I'm gonna be going home, and then at the end of January, and then I'm gonna, get things taken care of there, maybe for a couple months or whatever, and then I'm gonna come back,
Okay.
and then maybe we'll plan a trip somewhere for sure. Like, it's good content and it's good life experience and it's just fun. I mean, I never thought that I would ever go to Cuba, but whenever I
Hmm.
did and pushed myself, it was like the plane ride was horrible.
Hmm.
I don't know if you've ever been on a Sunwing plane, chartered plane. They're
I
horrible.
have. Not
Oh yeah.
Sunwing, but I've been on one of those planes and they are a nightmare. I know what you mean.
Oh,
So
so
there's somebody in chat who keeps on asking over and over and over again if you are going to be doing a TLC show. Are you going to be doing a TLC show?
no, no. No. I haven't been asked to do a TLC show or anything like that. That's an American TV company.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I got reached out to by a producer before about doing some kind of like fat show, and
Mm-hmm.
and I just wasn't interested in it because I wasn't like gonna get the surgery, and I would have had to move to Georgia, and I'm just like
Right.
no, and the pay wouldn't have been good, so it wasn't worth my time or anything, and yeah,
Oh, so that would have
but
been the
no,
same doctor who operated on the Slaytons or on Amy Slayton?
probably yeah, I think
Yeah,
so, yeah, yeah, yeah.
right.
So
True. His name
Now,
that Doctor Who, but Doctor now.
what is Salah's status in Kuwait? Because this is something that a lot of people are wondering about. He was born in Kuwait, or is he a guest worker in Kuwait? What is his story?
he was born and raised here, but he's
Mm-hmm.
Syrian, but
Right.
he was born and raised here.
Mm-hmm.
I think in Kuwait what I've learned is like they don't give people like it's very rare to get like I think there's like certain conditions to get Kuwait citizenship. You have to be
Right.
Kuwaiti born and all that stuff.
Correct.
So there's a lot of uh, immigrant workers here, particularly Filipino, Indian. There's a lot,
Mm-hmm.
um, but I think he's just always had very decent jobs, and as long as you're like registered with a company as a job, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't know, honestly. I'd have to ask him. We're going to
Mm-hmm.
do a Q&A, so maybe he can answer that, but I'm not sure
Okay.
like what his actual like status is. I just know he's Syrian and he's been born and raised in Kuwait. Like his family's been here too for many, many years.
Yeah, Kuwait is one of those countries that does not have birthright citizenship.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter if you're born in the country. You have to be Kuwaiti, not born
Yeah.
in Kuwait. That's how that works. So it's not like the United
Yeah.
States, for example.
Right. A lot of Gulf countries are like that. I think
That's right.
Dubai is like that too. Yeah.
That's exactly right. Yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
But
right.
the
And so,
situation in Syria is, I mean, most people, Syrians are, a lot of them are in Jordan or other countries. Like it's
right.
just because of the war and everything. Yeah.
Hmm.
This. So,
Hmm. Yeah, I can't see you in Damascus, Chantal. I can't
Damascus,
picture that.
please.
No, no
No,
Damascus bees. No, no, there is no beesing in Damascus.
beat your ass out of there. That's what he used to be doing.
please your ass out of there. Yeah, no, I don't think that's in the plan anytime soon, for sure. Yeah.
But the thing is, because you're in Kuwait, you're so close to a lot of other countries,
Yeah.
that you don't have to schlep all the way over the ocean. I mean, you can go to Turkey, you can go to Dubai, you can go to so many other, you can go to Egypt if you want to, you can go to Europe. The world is really your oyster. It's like you're in this great launching pad to go
Yes.
wherever, and it's not that long a plane trip from where you are.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised how much I'm enjoying Kuwait. Like I really don't feel, it's I don't know. Like I just maybe it's because there's like so much like comfort food and just the
Hmm.
malls and it just seems like very westernized to how I imagined it in a lot of ways.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah. But yes, you're right. Like there are like yeah, like Turkey would be, other places are more easily accessible from here for sure. So that might be in the works.
Hmm. So you like Kuwait?
Yeah, I do. I really do like it here. It's yeah, I mean I'm really enjoying our couples channel. Just doing things together
Hmm.
is like wholesome things. It's so fun. And people are so like they don't stare at you. There's no like people drunk and strung out on the road and
Hmm.
like it's just clean and yeah, I really like it. Yeah. It's a vibe.
Opposite of the Western world, I suppose.
Hmm.
There's things I like about the Western world. There's things I like about here. So if
Right.
I
Yeah.
could someday live in both, that would be fun. Like come here for the winter and then go back to Canada for the summer.
Right.
Who knows? Yeah.
That's what I want to do in Florida. Florida's like another country.
True. Yeah, for sure.
So what is something that you would like to say to your critics apart from go fuck yourself? What 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 do you want to say to them of a practical nature about your new life and your new appearance and everything else? What is like what misunderstanding do you want them to get over, if you don't mind my asking?
Honestly, and I have to reinforce this in my brain, I I don't feel it's worth explaining or validating myself. I think that no matter what I do, people, if I say the sky's, um, blue, they're going to say it's purple. Like, I just think
Hmm.
at this point, people just like to misunderstand me. They like to come up with theories because it's content. So there's no point in explaining yourself to people that are not going to listen to you. And I think that with my critics, that's a lot of it.
Hmm.
So I think I just have nothing more to say. I think every time I rage, every time I speak out for myself, it honestly just falls on deaf ears, and there's just nothing more I can say about it. I mean,
Hmm.
I know in my heart I'm happy. I know the truth. I guess I can say that people are very, very wrong. That's all I can say.
Hmm.
And yeah, that's about it.
And the Kuwaiti police never showed up to haul you off to
Touch wood.
prison for filming the oil fields.
Jeez.
No, and I did try, it was in a distance, and I just thought it would be cool. But I did end up looking online. I should have done that first, but I mean, I did see another YouTube video of somebody just driving by it. So no, it's probably illegal to go in and be like, go up to the building and go, hey, but
Right.
passing by, I don't know. I took it down just in case because there are crazy people like T and Dust who like to
Hmm.
to call people, and I'm still waiting for her Saudi Arabian people to
The
come
hit
in.
squad. Yeah.
The hit squad.
Jeez, people are so
They're
ridiculous.
crazy. They are crazy. What are you doing?
She
Wow.
doesn't like that I have a problem with her bullying me and saying I smell and that I'm a pig and everything. Like,
Hmm.
lady, hello. Like,
How dare you,
oh,
right?
yeah,
Well, just know this. We hear you. We see what's going on. It's
yes.
it's a small corner of the internet. They all know what's going on, but it doesn't fall on deaf ears because I hear and see all, and I know, and I'm like, damn, they're doing that to me too. What the fuck? So yeah,
Hmm.
we see it.
Yeah,
We do see it. And
I
so do our
appreciate it.
audiences, by the way. Our
They've been very
audiences see it
welcoming.
too.
Yeah,
Very
they've been very
welcoming.
welcoming. And
Yeah.
even if it's a small channel, so what? Like my channel's not super huge. I mean, 5 years I only have under 100K, and I
Hmm.
mean, like I like to go where I'm welcome, just like anyone else, like
Hmm.
and where I'm heard and everything. So,
Hmm.
so yeah, we have common ideas, and I think that's very good.
Listen, Chantal, all I can say is if you're pulling a stunt, it is one of the best I've ever seen because I am totally sold. I am totally
Really?
sold.
Oh,
I believe it 100%. And honestly, if I thought that you were bullshitting, I would not have invited you to come on the podcast because,
yeah,
I mean, okay, whatever. People accuse us of clout chasing. I wouldn't have cared if you were lying and I brought you on the podcast just to draw some eyeballs. But I invited you on, Negs and I invited you on because we looked at you and said, my God, what an amazing change. And really, it's just been in a few months because you were still beezing very, very hard this year, earlier this year. And I
yeah,
look at you now and I'm
brilliant.
like, my God, if this is an act, it's the best I've ever seen. But I really
Yeah,
believe that something has changed, Chantal. Something is different about you. And it's not just
yeah,
the hijab and all that business. It's everything. It's your aura. It's the way that you're behaving. It's the content that you're producing. It's the content that you're taking down from your channel. And I am all in favor of any change that benefits you
I
and
appreciate that. Yeah.
keeps you away from all that awfulness that you were doing, all the stuff that you were doing in Canada. So
Wasting my life and
you
just
were.
you know I mean, every day I would wake up and I would say I want to change, and I
Hmm.
just one day it just that's how it happens for me usually. I mean, these screws have been turning, like the gears have been turning for a while, and I've been wanting to.
Hmm.
I mean, I didn't enjoy my life, like I
Right.
did to a degree. It was comfortable, but no, I was like living in like horrible conditions and not
Hmm.
taking care of myself in any way. And I just I I would say, yeah. I mean, I met, Sala, and he was very, um, I just feel like I respect myself more, and I'm just, yeah, just, I don't have a need to do all these toxic things in my life anymore. I haven't even thought about weed since being here, honestly, or anything.
Hmm.
And I'm an addict, so anything I do, I abuse it. I'm not saying that there's
Uh-huh.
a problem with weed because most people can be responsible with it, but me, I wasn't.
Right.
So,
Right. Well, that's what
yeah,
kills me because you are such a young woman. I know you don't feel that
yeah,
way right now. When I was your age, I thought, okay, I've got a foot in the grave and a foot on the banana peel, but I didn't. And you are such a young woman, and it seems a waste to me when I see
yeah,
somebody who is in the prime of life,
yeah.
who doesn't have entanglements, who doesn't have all these issues, and you're still like every day is like it's like
A
Groundhog
waste.
Day every single
Yeah,
day, over and over and over again.
it's
We,
sickening.
yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's sickening, even for me, like
Hmm.
I didn't enjoy it. And finally, I never thought that I would enjoy this kind of life.
Right.
It found me, and it did happen quickly, but I think when you're with the right person, you just know. Like I feel like the comfort level we have with each other in that
Hmm.
short time feels like at least 2 years or something. It just feels good. I can't
Hmm.
explain it other than that. I'm sure you guys know. You
Yeah.
know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
I mean, nobody saw this coming, you know? Nobody saw
yeah,
that coming.
even me, I was like, what?
I know, right?
Yeah, but hey, it does make sense in a way, because you guys do have you're both like intellectual people who can form a criticism that's not founded on just name. I don't get me wrong, I do chuckle whenever you call people crazy bitches. I do.
Yeah. Well,
But a
if the
lot of
shoe
people
fits,
deserve
Chantal.
it. So, but yeah, for sure. People don't need to understand, they won't. There's just whatever.
I love
But
this
just stay out of
comment,
my
and
life.
I love this comment in chat. This is crushingly disappointing. I'm so confused as to how we're not grown enough to not join forces because of a united hate for someone that's entirely inconsequential. I don't know what you're talking about. This is not Game of Thrones, okay? We're having a conversation. Nobody is recruiting an army. Nobody is getting mercenaries together. It's just that there are certain
Except tea
people
and
who
chats.
behave right. Right. People behave badly. We call it out. So what? You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And if I see somebody who's on the platform and they're really making an effort to change, why the hell should I come along and say, you're lying? You know? And this is unacceptable, Chantal. I want you to go back to Canada immediately, and I want you to get messed up on camera again, and I want you to rage, and I want you to screech, and all that.
Yeah.
By the way, did the Holy Trinity ever make it back into your chat, or are they gone forever?
They're
No?
gone forever, and that's eye-opening for me because
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like I don't know what to think about that. I never thought that they would ever just abandon me. I really don't know. I think, they
Why
don't like.
why did they though? What was the reason that they gave?
Well, they were being kind of like invasive with questions towards Sala, and I know,
Oh.
we were trying to be private, and I wanted the privacy respected, but I don't know. They felt, I guess, betrayed because you know, corrected them on that, and then
Mm-hmm.
it was just drama. Like, I understand they care. I feel like they do care about me,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know. Um, I think maybe they just are very skeptical of
Mm-hmm.
my husband, and maybe because of what I went through the past year, like put everyone through hell. I get that. So, I mean, if they just need time, I don't know, or they just don't feel the vibe anymore because it's not the same content.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably just a mixture of factors like that. But they're
Well,
in Pete's chat now.
if it's any consolation, there were people that I had to boot out of my community who had been with me for years because they wouldn't leave Negz alone, and they were being very rude and very judgmental and very
Yeah,
nasty. And I asked
yeah,
them 1,000 times. I put his name in the word filter. I said it over and over and over again. If you come for Negz, if you're rude to him, it is a permanent ban. One strike, you're out. No clemency. And they wouldn't
right.
listen, and I had to get rid of them because
Yeah,
when you love someone and you're looking out for them, I'm sorry, I don't care how long you've been with me. I don't care how much money you've given me in super chats. I don't care if you're a member or not. This is my rules are my rules, and I have them for a reason. And
Yes.
disrespecting Negs is the number one way to get banned off of my channel forever.
Of course.
So
I mean,
I get
they have
it.
to
So,
respect that. They should respect your
right,
wishes at the end of the day. They don't have to like somebody, but I mean, at the end of the day, they have to respect your wishes. It's your channel, and I
hmm
mean, it's disrespectful at some point to keep prying and prying. And I just felt
hmm
like, they should know that. They've known me, and they know what I don't like, and Salah's given them no reason, especially, to just be so skeptical, I guess, and just I did say, I still haven't blocked them, but I didn't
right.
appreciate that. I
Well,
think they
listen,
just left.
you and Negs are, look, we're all three of us are content creators, but you and Negs are in a different position than I am because I have not been as willing to be um, as forthcoming or as open with my heart on my sleeve the way you two have. And so you two have drawn in a certain type of audience that expects a certain type of behavior out of you.
Hmm. Yeah.
And there comes a point, I mean, even with me, even though I've come on and I've tried to keep people at arm's length, I was cautious about inviting people in and all that. People do develop a very possessive weirdness with content creators, and it can be very inappropriate, where they think that they are your family, they think they're your parent, that they're your best friend, and they're people that you know online,
Right.
and they don't
Yeah.
know you in person. I mean, there were people on my channel who were taking enormous liberties with me, and I did not even know their real names, but they
Right.
presumed to tell me how to live my life. And like I said, you and Negs are probably more susceptible to that because you are much, much, much more open. Well, Negs isn't as much as he used to be, but you're more open than I ever was. So I can't even imagine the bullshit. I mean, I've seen it with Negs, and to a certain extent, I've seen it with you. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's one downside.
Yeah. I feel like I'm responsible a little bit because like I feel like I've been so open, and maybe I, get this emotional response from people, but it's never my intention to like m mess with people or manipulate people, like to do anything intentional. It's just, if it's so much for you, then yeah, maybe not watch me. But I mean, that's how I live my life. I'm always like just constantly changing and trying to find my way, and I have a lot of problems, and I thought sharing would be like a positive thing, but sometimes it's not,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the way people are going about it is not productive. They, for some reason, they like the toxicity and they want it to perpetuate and they want to
hmm
be the person to trigger it. That's not appropriate. And this, when in the same breath, they're pretending to be benevolent.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, like that's fan behavior, but that's like fanatic behavior.
hmm
I don't get it.
Yeah, exactly. You nailed it.
Well, babes, do you have anything else?
No, I think I've said everything that I've
Me
wanted to
too.
say. I'm glad you came up, Chantel, because
Yeah,
I
thank
feel
you.
like
Yeah,
you don't get a fair
thanks for
shake.
having me.
I don't feel like you get a fair shake, and maybe people could see this side of you
Right.
instead of the side that they have a delusion of.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I'm a real person, and I have feelings, and just trying to find my way like everyone, So
hmm
I appreciate you having me up and seeing this side of me. It's very positive, and I appreciate it. Good vibes here.
Keep up the good work. You're doing,
Yep.
I
Thank
mean, I
you.
hate to quote Kris Jenner, but you really are doing amazing, sweetie. You really are. I am incredibly, incredibly impressed with what you
Thank
have
you
done in a
very
very short period of time, too.
YOLO.
Right.
All
Yeah,
right.
no, for sure. All right, guys.
Thank you, Chantal.
Thank you. I'll see you guys later in chat or something.
Okay, great.
All right. Bye, Chantel. All right.
All right, you.
So 5 p.m. my channel. Be there,
5 p.m.,
be square.
guys. Be there. Be there. The day continues. A full day of content.
All right.
Thank you all.
Thanks.
And don't forget, on your way out, please do check out the description box and do consider becoming a member, subscribing, sharing, contributing, donating, whatever, and join Negz's Patreon because then you get access to an amazing Discord with some fantastic people and lots of GIFs and memes and lots of pet photos. So please do join. It's a good time. And we will see you later.